Hello. A week ago, I promised that in a week's time, I will come to you with another video on speech writing and delivery, this time focusing on the writing aspect. Yeah, I say that before you get to the stage, the podium, in front of a camera to deliver your speech, there is another stage that you're supposed to have gone through speech writing. And trust me, it is very important to write your speech in the preparation stage of delivering a speech. And the reason it is important is that it really helps you get ready. Now, in this episode, I'm going to share things to keep in mind when writing your speech. I'm not saying that these are universal, but maybe they are. But I'm saying that they have worked for me. They continue to work for me. I've interacted with people, and even when I was being mentored in some aspects of speech writing, some of these aspects came out very strongly. And when I got better at them, then I got better at getting ready for speeches and delivering them. All right, the first one is the four questions. Do you remember the four questions? If you've forgotten or you don't know what I'm talking about, I released a video here that I called the four key questions to answer for effective speech delivery. Kindly watch that video in this channel and listen to it and try to practice those four questions. But for the purpose of this video, I will just state them as they were. The four questions are: what's your message? Number two, who is your audience? Number three, why are you giving that message? Why are you delivering that message? And number four, how best can you deliver that message? Those are the four key questions to keep in mind, or rather, I keep in mind when writing a speech. Now, when I have those four questions in mind and I'm trying to answer them, I start now the process of writing the speech in my head. Yeah. Before I get to the computer or on paper, because yes, sometimes I handwrite my speeches. There's something about a pen and book or paper. I have to start the writing process on my mind, in my head, while in the bathroom, while cleaning up, while walking around. Those moments when my brain is not engaged on other stuff and I'm preparing for my speech, either in a Toastmasters meeting, a forum that I've been invited to speak at, a video I would like to release on a certain aspect or certain topic, I start writing that speech on my mind. But then after that, I get down to the actual writing of the speech. And what now I focus on at this stage is the organization and structure of the speech. When I'm thinking about it, I'm this kind of a person sometimes who has a lot going on my mind. So I have all these thoughts and supporting content that can go to this point and that point. But that thought process helps me now get it very clear that this is the message. It's very clear. I already have researched or I've asked around if it's an invitation and I've gotten to know the kind of audience. I already know why. Do I want to inspire? Do I want to inform and educate these people? Do I want to entertain them? Do I want to persuade them? And then I've already started thinking, okay, to deliver this message in the best way, maybe I can use this prop, maybe I can use a presentation, maybe this particular story would work. Now, that writing on my mind with all those things is a lot. So I have to now sit down and put the speech down. In early stages, you might find yourself wanting to write the whole speech word for word and then try to narrow it down slowly by slowly. And maybe as you advance, you might find yourself writing your speech in the fewest words possible. But what's very important is the structure. Your speech needs to have a very clear introduction, body, and conclusion. If you're watching this and you're a Toastmaster, I'm sure you've had these over and over and over again, and we cannot emphasize it enough. But if you haven't had these it's the first time you're hearing these. Let me tell you that it is very critical that you structure your speech. And some of the reasons why it is critical is that when you have a structured speech, your mind in the first place, as the person delivering the speech, is very organized. You have the flow very clearly in your mind, and you've taken time to structure it within your message. And then number two, for your audience, it makes it more understandable, makes it more memorable, easier to remember, easier to understand. It even makes it more enjoyable because it's clear for them that you're not a hazard. You're not getting from point A to F, back to B, then go to Z, then come back to C. You know, that kind of disorganization is not good even for the audience that's listening. They're likely to miss out on what the message is, even if, according to you, there's a message in there. So structuring your speech, a very clear organization, is something to keep in mind when you get down to writing your speech. The third thing I think about is the research aspect of speech. You might you might say it's not a research speech after all. But let's say you want to use statistics, or even you want to quote someone in your speech, because quotes are known to be one of the styles to emphasize a message or to give power to a message. You want to quote Oprah Winfrey on this as speech you're talking about that has been talked about, a message has been emphasized by her. You need to make sure you're quoting the right quote, the right person. That's also part of research. So when I say research your topic, or I try to research my topic, and it's important that we all research our topics when writing our speeches, I'm not just talking about getting the right statistics and citations and, our research project speech. I'm talking about even those aspects of a story told by. You need to get that person right. A quote by this person and that person. You need to get the quote right and the person right. So it's very important that you research your speech as you write it. Number four, strive to stay within the message and to get to the point. Stay within the message. What is your message? Because when you're delivering a speech and you start digressing so much, you lose people. You might employ styles like humor within your speech, but even this humor needs to be jokes that are within your message. They're helping you enhance your message, not digressing from the message, because you run the risk of losing your audience and also losing your flow. Because when you start putting in there a lot of content that are not really related with the message, or are not even relevant to your audience, or they are not geared towards information, entertaining, or the essence, or that why you had in inspiring, motivating, persuading, you lose people within your speech. So it's very key that you stick to your message and get to the point. As much as possible, try to use the fewest words, the fewest lines when writing that speech to get to the point. And then number five, as you get to the point, keep in mind the time allocated for your speech. One of the things we learn in Toastmasters, because we're building leadership, it's where leaders are made, is time management. If you've been asked to speak to us for 2 to 3 minutes, we are learning through Toastmasters that it means 2 to 3 minutes. So when writing your speech, it's very critical that you ask yourself, fine, I have this message I want to give. It's a lot, maybe, but will it fit in the time allocated? And if it doesn't, may you just cut it off, reduce words, reduce as much as possible. Maybe use fewer styles. If it's stories or examples or anecdotes, use fewer. Look at a way that you still deliver your message, because it's very critical, but within the allocated time. I'm sure you've all gone to church, yeah, pastors, priests, yeah, they're notorious in this, truth be told. And someone preaches over and over and over again. They say the message, they say it in a different way, they repeat it, they even water it down in the process. Because a message they could have delivered in 10 minutes, they have insisted in delivering it 1 hour. So you bore the audience, they lose the message, they get tired, and that's not what you want as a speaker when you get into the stage. You've also gone to ceremonies or even boardroom functions or big big in big auditoriums, and people in the program, it's very clear, 25 to 30 minutes presentation, and someone gets on stage and they do a lot of irrelevant things in their presentation, or just turn around a point so many times, and then 1 hour later they're still on the stage delivering the same message. It's either they did not put the time in mind when they were preparing, or they got there and they lost the sense of the audience. The audience is about respecting the audience time as well. So it's very important when you're writing your speech to have that in mind. So, what have I said? I have said, or I have recommended, or I am speaking to you and guiding you on what to keep in mind when writing your speech. And these are things that have worked for me. Number one, the 4 questions. Keep them very clear in mind. Answer them in your mind. What is your message? Who is your audience? Why are you delivering that message? And how can you best deliver that message? And as you're answering these questions, start writing that speech here in your mind. Start thinking of different ways you can deliver that message. Start getting your message very clear. You can almost see yourself on that stage writing your speech, delivering your speech rather. Then number two, get to the organization, the structure of your speech. Make sure it's very clear. Even you as a speaker, on that paper where you're writing the speech, you can clearly tell, yeah, this is a very clear and powerful introduction, and there's a very clear transition to the body, and the body is rich and has the points that I wish to deliver to people. And then the conclusion is powerful and emphasizes on the message, because it helps the audience remember. It makes the speech memorable. It makes it easier to even understand, and it also makes it enjoyable. Then remember to research your speech. Cite the right people, the right things, give the right statistics, and research will help you in that process. Then remember to get to the point, to keep your message in mind. Don't lose it. Stick with it in every part of that speech. Let everything you're saying be something that is helping you emphasize and deliver that critical message that you wished to deliver, and get to the point within the shortest time possible, keeping in mind number 5, the time allocated. Don't be that kind of a person who knows very well this speech is too long for 5 to 7 minutes, and then you still show up with it, and then 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, you're still on stage delivering a speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this has been helpful, and I hope that we all continue getting better at writing and delivering speeches, because trust me, communication is very important. And maybe in the next video, I should then talk about speaking versus communication. Get to the chat box down here, inbox. Tell me how you feel about all this. Tell me also what has worked for you. Let's keep the conversation going. But also, remember to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you don't miss out on future videos. Stay safe, stay well, and it's a pleasure to interact with you. Bye-bye.